All right, troops. So an impromptu live video from myself, just to stay connected with you guys. I have obviously read all your comments and your well wishes, which have been greatly appreciated. And I thought I would respond in due course to thank you guys for the lovely messages that you have sent in my direction. However, at the same time, I was a bit embarrassed to receive a lot of them because I don't feel like I'm in a bad way enough to warrant such messages, but it's greatly appreciated at the same time, so thank you. So the purpose of this video is to explain my current approach to training setbacks and how I deal with them, and also to give you some history with regards to how I used to deal with them. And I am fairly certain a lot of guys who train hard, who train consistently, will be able to empathize with what I am going to say. Now, first and foremost, when you experience a training setback and you have been training in a long cycle for a good few months and things have been going really well, you've been hammering it from all angles, and you get injured or you experience a virus, so to speak, you tend to panic a little because all that hard work seems to be undone. And suddenly you're thinking to yourself, I am going to lose all of this progress that I have made. But we know when we look at it rationally, that is never the case. However, that is your mind playing tricks on you. And I speak from experience because this is something that plagues me. Now, my situation at this current point in time is that, as I explained in a couple of videos prior to this, I experienced a shoulder injury. And to top it off, I have been feeling unwell over the last couple of days, particularly since Saturday. Sunday was hard, and then yesterday I was incapacitated and I got tested for COVID again. And the second dose seems to be a lot worse than the first dose. It's been quite difficult to sort of function being a dad and having to look after my children who have not been at nursery this week due to being a bank holiday and then service day. So running after toddlers with COVID is quite hardcore. So if you had taken the LEEHAZ from say 2 or 3 years ago and put them in this situation, mass panic would have ensued and he would have been like a rudderless ship at this point, not having a clue how he was going to get back from this. It would have just been panic mode. However, things have changed because I am more I'm a more a realist when it comes to training now. I know what I can do and I know how things usually pan out. Now, these are some of the ways I now deal with a setback and how I use them to my advantage. Number one is treat a setback. And can I just add here that some of my thoughts may be a bit crazy to some people. They may like, what is he talking about? That's insane. However, bear with me. I'm just explaining my thought processes and what gets me through this whole scenario. Number one is treat a setback like a holiday. Now, what I mean with that is that in my own case, like for the last 4 months, I've been meticulously tracking calories. I've been training almost every single day. I've just been making sure that everything is fine-tuned to get the desired result. However, what has happened is that I've decided to throw 2 sheets to the wind and thought, just treat this like a holiday. Put the calorie counting to the side. Start to eat the foods that you have prohibited yourself from eating. And just relax because it's downtime, and that is something we all need to kind of give us the motivation to come back with more discipline, with more effort, with more intensity. Because you know yourself, when you come to the end of a holiday, you tend to feel a bit groggy. The bad food you've been eating starts to accumulate. And then when you come back, you hit the gym hard. You start to train that wee bit harder. So in that respect, a training setback is actually a holiday and should be treated as such. If you were to go to a foreign country, you wouldn't care if you weren't training. You would be convincing yourself that you have paid for a holiday and you're going to exploit it to its fullest, and you're going to eat as much crap as you want, things like that. Approach a training setback with the same mindset. Eat that crappy food, do the things that you kind of limited yourself from doing because you were training hard. You'll always get back to square one. Number 2 is it's time to reflect on your training. It's time to almost create an audit of how you've been training and assess what has been working and what hasn't been working, so that you can plan your next mode of attack. And this is something I find is really successful. I've always seen training setbacks in that context where it's been an opportunity for me to reassess what has been working. And in this situation, I have reassessed that I have been training too much. I've been training every single day, and I've just been throwing a lot of things into the mix and hoping a lot of stuff sticks. And not everything has stuck. And it's been quite hard to admit that, because when you've got a platform on YouTube and you've kind of developed a lot of people that listen to what you're trying to say, you don't ever want to see yourself as being wrong, but you always get it wrong at points. You'll never get to where you want to go if you don't get it wrong. And the training setback is the perfect time to assess that. The perfect time to take a step back and look at what's been happening, what's been working, what's not been working. For me, I was doing too much pushing, a lot of pushing exercises, trying to develop my chest, trying to develop my burpees. I'm addicted to burpees, but that ultimately has came at the detriment of my shoulder health, which has started to deteriorate over the last month or so. And taking a step back from training has allowed me to look at that almost from a neutral point of view and decide what my next plan of attack is. So in that respect, a training setback is an opportunity to begin an audit of your training and decide where you are going to take it from here. So another aspect of how to approach a training setback, number 3, is that it gives you a genuine opportunity to recover. Now, anybody who trains hard, and when I'm saying hard, I'm talking burpee hard, bodyweight training hard, kettlebell hard, whatever, weights hard, conditioning hard, they are going to develop niggles. They are going to develop small injuries that accumulate over time. However, the insanity that fills our head because we need to be training all the time overrides that common sense that's kicking in, and we train through the pain. I have been guilty of this on so many occasions, and I know for a fact a lot of you guys, particularly the burpee crew, will feel the same way. They feel a pain in their shoulders, they feel a pain in their chest, they feel a pain in their knee, they feel a pain in their back, but they persist because they are scared of losing their gains. It's the fear of loss that drives us. However, a training setback is the opportunity to allow those niggles to subside and give them the much needed R and R they require. Now, anecdotally, I know that my shoulders have been playing up recently. However, over the last 5 days, because I have abstained from the massive volume I place upon them, I can feel them getting better. I can feel the pain subsiding. And I'm starting to feel quite confident that in a few days, the pain will be gone completely. Because it's not that bad a shoulder pain. It was just a warning sign that something was up. And I had to listen to that signal, which I refused to do for ages because my stubbornness and my pig-headedness and my neurotic training behavior at times stopped me from doing so. Therefore, these opportunities when the training setbacks kick in should be utilised in this manner. So that's 3 training setback approaches off the top of my head. I'll put it to you guys if you've got any questions, and we'll see if we can take the chat from there. Now, Chris Crable, glad to see you are well, Lee. Well, thanks very much. I might look well, mate, but this COVID has hit me so hard. It's hit me like a ton of bricks. But and I thought COVID was like child's play, but obviously not. And once again, thank you, Chris. David Jones, the thumbnail fan. Hello there, big man. Hope you're all well, sir. Just a quick hello. Thank you very much, David. Really appreciate it. Tom Sawyer, how you doing, Tom? That's the best way to look at it, Lee. And do you know what? That's a good point. Is ultimately it's mindset and how you view these things, because the net result is always the same. You always end back up at alpha base 0 in these situations, and you convince yourself, because to go back to what I said earlier, it's the fear of loss that drives us, the fear of losing anything in life. But we have set a ridiculous baseline for ourselves that sometimes we don't give ourselves the credit we are due in that respect. I mean, like, I could take 2 weeks off with this injury and I know I could come back and nail 100 unbroken burpees. And most people within this sphere would be disappointed with that. However, 100 burpees, as I've always said in many a live or a video, would decimate most people. It would absolutely annihilate them. Whereas to the seasoned burpee practitioner, it's a disappointment. But that's the baseline we've created through chipping away and just creating that consistency and just putting in the hours of hard work. And to have that baseline is a fantastic feat. However, the head will always get in the road, as we say in Scotland, and it will always play tricks on you. I don't know specifically why it does these sort of tricks, maybe to motivate, but it's just it's a dark subject. Cornwall wildlife shot across the bows. William Tell, my man. Chris Cable, I need to take this advice. So obviously with you, Chris, some of the things I've said have struck a chord, and I know they strike a chord because I know a lot of guys think like this. That's the beautiful thing about training. That's not, I wouldn't say it's beautiful, but that's the thing about training. It gets in your head and it can become quite neurotic at times. And sometimes you need that setback to allow you to look at it through a different lens, to realise that you don't need to train all the time. You can take more days off than necessary. You can kind of relax in some aspects. You've got a lot of options, and it's what you choose to do with those options. But the option that you really need to sort of take up is the don't let it affect your head option. You need to realise that it's just a part of your life. It's not your whole life. And you will perform, the longevity will become more of a factor if you adopt that mindset. Eric McCarthy, loving the book, Lee, especially the personal stories of both you and Max. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Eric. I know that, I mean, we've obviously spoke about our personal stories through our channels, through our respective channels. However, when you read it, it's something different. It's like, it's easy enough just to recount your story via a podcast or a live video or a video on YouTube. However, in the written form, always carries that extra weight, and that's something that will never be replaced. Is things in the written form do have that effect on people. You take things that are written more seriously than things that are said. If it's on paper, then your brain processes it completely differently, and you take the information on board in a completely different way. And that was the good thing about the book. It was a way for me and Max to get our thoughts on, I was going to say paper, but Kindle, but to get our thoughts out there in order to help people, because I've not seen any books out there that are getting people started. I've seen books with like variations and things like that, but not a book to get people truly started, that physical entity that they can always refer to. So thanks very much for that input, Eric. Greatly appreciated, buddy. Cornwall Wildlife. I think it is harder for the injured novice who may not know how to train around the injury and keep gains or create them in different areas. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And that's something that I should have probably touched on. So I'm really glad that you brought it up. And the seasoned trainer, or the guy who's been training for a couple of years, has that ability to train round injuries. They've got the ability to identify exercises and movements they can do which won't impact the injured body part and still allow themselves to keep ticking over. However, a novice will probably panic and start floundering like a trout out of water and just stop dead in their tracks and move on to something else. So that's a really good point. The novice has got less of a, has got a more, their toolbox is not as full as say as the seasoned trainer to deal with these setbacks. Eric McCarthy, and I could probably use a few days off too. Listen, mate, take a few days off. Take a few days off, mate. It's allowed. It's allowed to take a few days off. A bit of R&R is always welcome in the Hazard household. Ed's done. Sup, strength and conditioned. Right, nice. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm just trying to kind of keep the content rolling in that respect. As you can see, I'm looking a bit dishevelled now. I've not shaved my head in a while. I'm kind of letting myself go a wee bit. It's been quite a tough time mentally for me with not being able to train, losing all my gains. But I'm going to come back hard. I've already developed my strategy. I don't want to talk about it on here at this point because it's just words at this point. It's the execution that matters. It's the consistency, and it's how long you attack the plan for that is the most important thing. So that's something that I'll reveal in due course. But I'm very excited about my next training block. One of the things I did do recently was I fixed my airdyne bike. I've got an airdyne bike which broke, the belt on it snapped, or it became frayed and it got jammed, and I left it sitting there for about a year, hadn't touched it. And when I had a bit of time off there, when I was in the house feeling sorry for myself, I thought, I'm going to take this apart and try and fix it. And lo and behold, I managed to fix the airdyne, so it's back up and running. So I'm going to start doing a bit more airdyne training, bringing that back into the mix, building my aerobic base up through the airdyne, because I can sit and watch YouTube while I'm cycling it, so it's quite easy with a heart rate monitor and things like that. So that'll be fun. Anyway, listen, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video helps a few people that have got issues with regards to how they're approaching their injuries and things that come up and stop them from training for consecutive days. Hopefully that is a help to you guys. Another question just popped in here. Keep the diet in check and the gains will soon be back. Just don't succumb to junk food when you feel easily done. It's been done, mate. It's been done. My kids have had some Easter eggs left over, so I've annihilated them. But you know what? It is what it is. Like even guys like myself succumb to the lure of chocolate and the odd KFC. But things will be back on track. Once this COVID goes, I am ready to rock again. So anyway, guys, thanks very much. Thanks for watching. I need to take the dog out. Pleasure. Goodbye.